Sekasa. Sekasa, because we're an Aussie. We're an Aussie. Southeastern Centre Against Sexual Assault. Mary's a social worker trained with nearly 30 years of experience. We're all in that sort of age. Yeah. No, of working with individuals and families, developing an expertise with issues of family violence. Don't laugh at us all. Ray Lewis. Of family violence, impacts of abuse. She's been working as a counsellor and advocate with the Southeastern Centre Against Sexual Assault, SECASA, for almost 10 years. SECASA offers free, confidential and expert counselling to anyone who's been impacted by sexual assault. SECASA works independently but in close liaison with SOCIT and DHS and Forensic Medical Services, and Mary came a long way from St Kilda. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. I'm not going to take up a lot of your time because we've had some amazing speakers tonight and lots of information has come through. Just a couple of things I'd like to say. First of all, I really just want to echo so much of what Joe was speaking about. He spoke so beautifully just about the themes I guess are really, really important to myself around belief, validation, around the blinkering that we often have in the community, to seeing things which I guess for the last 10 years it's what I do day after day after day. I work in St Kilda, I see victims of sexual assault. The majority of the people I see are adults trying to come to terms with stuff that happened to them when they were kids. That's just the reality. So I don't want to... I can talk a lot about our service, and it's a big service, we do some amazing things. But I suppose what's most important here is that we are open. We are a free and confidential service. We cover this area and we're open to anyone who feels they have been impacted by sexual assault. And that includes the direct victims, it includes the family of the victims, it includes the children of the victims, the parent, whatever. And I suppose if there's some sort of a relationship with those who have perhaps been notified, who have seen, we are there and we provide a range of different sorts of counselling services. We're accessible through the phone numbers and some information that I've left there which talks about the variety of the different work we do. But just a couple of comments. As a sort of a Jewish woman who's worked in this area for a long time, I want you to know that I have people of all different types of nationalities who access our service. Majority women, but more and more men. I see probably in my case about 30% men, it's getting higher and higher all the time. I see people of Italian background, of Filipino background, of Thai background, of Jewish background, and ultimately they all start with me. But Mary, you don't really know. In our community, we don't talk about this. It's kind of like, and it's like, well, okay, right, okay. No one likes to talk about it. Nobody ever wants to. But it needs to be spoken about before we can even start to make inroads in any way. So just going to finish off, I suppose, what I talk about the sexual assault pyramid. And it's just for people's information because it's so important to know about the police. It's so important to know about DHS protective role. But the reality is that the majority of sexual assaults not only go unreported, they get undisclosed for many, many, many years to everyone. And something that I've spoken about a lot is there's the amount of sexual assaults that occur, whatever that happens to be. Then there's the amount that is spoken about to anyone, to disclose. So there's a whole bunch of never spoken about at all. Then there are those that actually get reports made to the police. And then there's the ones where the police are able to find sufficient evidence to warrant going further to court. Then those are the ones that go to court, and then those are the convictions. And it's huge. And what that means that as a community we can get our heads in knots around, criminals and perpetrators. Unfortunately, what I've had to come to terms with in this way, there's a lot of people, because all those assaults were made by people who go unconvicted, unknown. And there were some questions about perpetrators. I'm not an expert in this area, but I suppose I've learned a lot through the work with victims. And what I know is that perpetrators are of all different types. There is the pedophile perpetrator, the groomer, the most insidious type, the ones that go out kind of looking for children and looking for vulnerable children. And I'd like to think that we're actually making some inroads there, because I believe very much that by talking about it, by having the checks, by doing so much, we're making those people say you can't get it. Unfortunately, they're moving into more pedophile rings through the internet, is where I understand. However, that's a different issue. But we're actually we're protecting our kids a little bit more in that area. But perpetrators are also, as I often say, they are adolescent brothers, they're wayward uncles, they're disturbed fathers, and some not so disturbed, controlling or abusive fathers or stepfathers. What I'm trying to, they come in all different shapes and sizes, and ultimately we don't know. And what we're looking for is some sort of acknowledgement, and what victims are often looking for. Sometimes they're looking for put them away and lock up and shake the key. Other times that's the last thing they want to do. But what they do want is an acknowledgement. I'm sorry. That shouldn't have happened. I wish I could take it back. What can I do to help you in your healing? And I've often found, and sometimes the legal system, which is all about guilt and innocent and beyond reasonable doubt, mucks that all up. Things, so much to think about. There's such a huge issue. It's been a long night, and I'm not going to take much more of your time, but I'm more than happy to speak more at a different stage and answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Mary.
Thank
you. I'd like to acknowledge Judy New, who's going to...
I'm not going to make a speech.
Who's going to conclude this evening, but...
This evening was born out of a group of concerned parents having some discussions about amongst ourselves once this had come to the surface in our community, and basically it was about, I guess, the misinformation that abounds. And we all sit around at the back of Shaw or wherever it may be talking about what we don't know. So we thought that it would be appropriate to get people who are experts in the field and deal with this each and every day to come to talk to us and give us some real information. So on behalf of that group of concerned parents, and I think everyone here, would like to thank you for providing us with some incredibly valuable information and insight into this issue, and hopefully we can talk to all the people who aren't here and get that dialogue going in the community. So thank you very much to our speakers. We do have a bottle of wine for each of you. I don't know whether you have to disclose that or not, but we'll see afterwards.
We'll have this up by Sunday. jml.org.au.
jml.org.au will be on the website if anyone's here. I'd also like to big thank you to our hosts Yossi and Mickey tonight. Thursday night's it's never easy to have people in your home, especially Thursday night, and thank you very much for being so welcoming. Thank you. And finally, I'd like to thank everyone who's come tonight and everyone who's, I guess, begun the dialogue. I know there are other evenings, and hopefully there'll be more and different ways of, as a community, really engaging with this. There's information from the various organisations, and so thank you very much. For those who want a double marriage, there'll be a minion as well. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.
Before everyone goes, I attended an evening at Beth Weitzman recently on some more topic with Mary and with Vivian, and